everyone, and welcome to What's New in Inventor 2024. My name is Juliana, and I work in marketing here at MicroCAD. And today's presenter is Jose Trillos, our applications specialist. At today's webinar, we will cover some of the most relevant new features of Inventor 2024. Throughout the webinar, you can ask a question at any given point on the left-hand corner. You can ask Jose to revisit a step or ask any questions. This is your time, and we want you to make the most of it. And in the upper left-hand corner, you will find links to our social media and website. Also, make sure to check our YouTube channel. We post all of our webinars there at the end, so you can share with colleagues or rewatch it at your own time. And without further ado, we'll pass it on to Jose. Hi, Jose.
Hey, Juliana. How are you doing?
Good, and you?
Fine, thank you. How's everyone doing? Well, you can answer me, but whatever. Well, for those who don't know me, my name is Jose Trillos. I'm an applications specialist here at MicroCAD. And today we're going to talk about a little bit on the new... Right. Now we're talking. Today we're going to talk all about the new features that we can find in Inventor 2024. This is the latest release, and there are several changes that were made in Inventor. There are some enhancements, even some new tools that we can use now in Inventor, and some of them that were improved from previous releases as well. So first of all, I want to confirm that you can see my screen on the webinar. Can you confirm that, Juliana?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. So these are the main topics we're going to be talking about today. We're going to talk a little bit about section views and canvas that were made for that tool. The new thread direction support when creating new parts in the Content Center. Some enhancements made to tube and pipe in Inventor. Some enhancements in the derive function and in the simplify tool as well. The new finish feature is now available in Inventor. Some enhancements to the parameters, some new tools we have in our drawings, especially the edge symbols and revision clouds. Some enhancements on image rendering and some tools that have been improved in rendering in Inventor, and some enhancements on Fusion 360 interoperability, and some enhancements or translators. Okay, so let's get started. The first one I want to talk about is the section view enhancements. This has changed a little bit how section views are created in Inventor. You still create them from your view panel, but there is now a new section view tool on the context menu. So when you create a section view, this view will now be persisting in the section view, in the presentation that you have active at the moment, and you will have this new section view tool that will allow you to suppress or edit the section view you just created. So you don't have to create several design views or representations for your model and save your section views in there, but each one of those will have an associated section view, and you can just suppress that or edit that from the context menu. So it works a little bit like this. You create your section view, same as you did before, and now you will have the little content menu, which lets you access some of the tools more easily. You get the move button, the rotate button as well. In this case, I'm making a quarter section view. Okay. So you see that all the tools are now on the quick menu we have when we are creating our section view. Okay. We also have the option to toggle on and off the cap section in case we have a large model. And this will this will help with the rendering of your section view, so it can run a little bit faster as well. The second one I want to talk about is the thread direction support in the Content Center. So this new part template parameter that was added with this new release, and whenever you're creating a threaded feature in some part and you're going to add that to the Content Center, you can map the thread direction to the template parameters on your part. So that means that when you're creating a new part on your Content Center, you can now add the thread direction to your parameters on your family parts. So you can create or you can make a difference between left-handed or right-handed threaded parts in your Content Center. Okay. Yeah, this new column that you're going to create in the family table on the Content Center should be linked to the new direction template parameter, and it will work as a Boolean parameter. Okay, so it may look a little bit like this when you're placing some part from the Content Center, and you're going to create a new family table. Okay, let's take a look into that. You're going to be able to select a new property that's going to be left-handed or right-handed, and that's controlled from the family part tables on your Content Center. Okay, so that's what we're showing right there. Okay, so you see all the parameters you had on your family table. We're going to take a look at the latest one. That should be the one that we created, and it's called a thread direction, and it works like a Boolean parameter. Okay, so 0 for right-handed, 1 for left-handed. Okay, let's place 2 screws from there. And now we're going to add a new one with the opposite direction. Okay, that should be the left-handed. And you see that on the creation of the part, the thread direction was controlled with this parameter. So that gives a lot of possibilities for the parts, well, for people who actually use this kind of features. All right. The third feature I want to talk about is the enhancements that were made to the tube and pipe environment. Namely custom elbows support. So before, when we were creating some routing on the tube pipe environment, we only could use regular elbow, like a 45 degrees or 90 degrees elbow. But now we can create a custom elbow. Okay, so there's this new option that's I'm showing here that's called custom elbow. And when you select that one, you're able to input a new elbow that will be created as a custom part. Okay, if you insert a 90-degree elbow or a 45-degree elbow, it will still show as a standard part. But when we create new elbows, those are going to be populated as custom parts. So let's create a new route in here. So let's start with a straight segment like here, and we are going to add the new custom elbow here. Okay, So I get two new handles that I can use to input the orientation of the new segment, and a custom elbow will be created. Okay, let's input one over there, 90 degrees one, and another one over there, a little bit larger, 25 degrees. Okay. Alright, so you see I have my segments created, and I have a standard elbow in here, the 90 degrees one, and I have two custom elbows in there. So that offers us a lot of new possibilities on the tube and pipe in the tube and pipe environment. Under derive enhancements, there's a new option when deriving parts and deriving assemblies that's called the oriented minimum bounding box. Okay, so when we're going to derive a solid body, we can select this one, so we're not restricted to the orthogonal bounding box. That's the usual bounding box we always have when we're deriving enhancements and we want to derive, well, the volume of our part. But we can select this new option, so the minimum bounding box, the smallest possible one, will be created, and we will be oriented in our way gives us the smallest space here. Okay, and this new tool is available on derived part, on derived assemblies, and on the make parts tool. Okay, if we are deriving an assembly, for instance, as well, and we have many bounding boxes, or it's a large assembly and we need to create a bounding box for that assembly, we can also cancel now the preview of the bounding box, because some of you may know, when we have a large model, this previews can take a lot of time, and I probably know how the bounding box is going to be beforehand, so I don't actually need a preview, so that preview can be canceled as well. And this new oriented minimum bounding box is available on the simplified dialog as well, and is also available as an envelope type. Okay. Next one is a new feature that I liked a lot. It's called the finish feature. This was a new feature in 2024, and it basically works a little bit like the appearance tool. Okay, but we can define many other options. You apply this finish to a certain face or certain faces. You can select any face you want, and depending on what you need to define, you can input a new appearance, or you can input a material coding, heat treatment, a surface texture, or some paint, something stuff like that. So it's not just about coloring the part in the way that you like, or having some visual representation of surface treatment, or however your part is supposed to look, but the feature actually has new parameters here that define how the feature is supposed to go. So if I'm placing a heat treatment, for example, I can define what process I'm using for making that heat treatment, piece hardening or carburizing, anything you need there. The appearance, how it will be, and the hardness. This is a very important new parameter that we're going to be talking about a little bit in a minute. But all of this is associated to the operation. So a new operation is created as well, and the feature is now placed into a new folder that's called the finish folder. Okay? And each one of these operations has an associated parameter that you can also see on the parameters table. So this new node, the parameters called finish parameters will appear. And for each one of the finishes you input to your model, there's going to be an area, an appearance, process, hardness, etc. Okay. These parameters obviously can be exported. They can be displayed in iProperties, and they can be used for making notes on your drawings. Okay, so that's very important to take into account when you're documenting your model. In regards to the parameter enhancements, there's a new unit type that's being introduced with this release. That's the hardness unit type. Okay, so this one is supposed to be used in conjunction with the finish tool that we just saw earlier. And you can define several subunit types such as hardness Brinell, noob, or Rockwell A, B, or C, or figures hardness. Okay, and you can just define well the type of hardness that your part is supposed to have, your surface is supposed to have, and in the middle of just numerical value. Okay. Also, with this new release, there's the option to export the Boolean and text values from the parameters into custom iProperties. Before, you couldn't do that. You just export the numerical values, for instance. Now you can use those directly into your custom iProperties, and so that gives you a lot more flexibility on using those parameters to control the properties of your part. In the drawing department, there are several enhancements as well. The ones that I found more useful, but the new edge symbols tool and the revision clouds. Okay, so on the edge symbols, this is a new type of symbol tool that appears on the annotate tab on the symbols group, and it's based on ISO 13715. Okay, and basically defines how if your edges are supposed next material or stuff like that, how the process of manufacturing the edge is supposed to go. Okay, and we also have the revision cloud tool. This could be done before, but it was harder to do, so it was now introduced as a proper tool on your drawings. And it works a lot like the ones in AutoCAD. Okay, so when you create a revision cloud, just start defining the nodes that your revision cloud is going to go through, and a sketch is created for the revision cloud. So you can use the handles to move it around, make it larger, smaller, whatever you want. On the Inventor rendering department, we also have several improvements as well. Some restrictions on the rendering size were removed as well. There's now much more for ray tracing. And one that I found very interesting is how we can create new sceneries. Okay, we can create new lighting styles, and we can upload an image using HDR or the XR files. So you can create a custom environment for your product. This one is an example that I found online with a very, very ugly car, but it's something like that. You can create a new environment, and it's a lot easier now to just upload your image into a new lighting setting. So in this case, I created a new one that was called Tunnel, and you just hit the upload image button. Okay, it's very important to note that there are are some restrictions for using this type of HDR files, especially on the ratio of the file. It's supposed to be only 1 to 2, 2 times the width, or 1 time the height, if you will, or 4 to 3, stuff like that, because, well, it needs to couple with the Inventor environment as well. And this new enhancement is also supported for ray tracing for CPU and GPU calculations as well. There were some improvements as well in the Fusion 360 interoperability environment, if you will, specifically with the manual inspection button. So there's now the option to prepare the part directly from Inventor and send it to Fusion 360 for a manual inspection task. Before, you would need to export the part and prepare the part in Fusion. Okay. And now there's the option to open the model directly in Fusion 360 from the context menu and getting an alert if the part was modified. Okay, so now when you go to the context menu and you try to open the part and there were changes made to the part, Inventor is going to give you a warning. So there are no update issues or stuff like that when you're supporting your parts. And finally, on the interoperability with other CAD files or other software, there's a new feature that allows us to include the coordinate systems for JT parts and step files. So that's very useful if you have very complex models, or if you need to reference models that were sent you from inside of Inventor. And for instance, this one is used on manufacturing, because usually you need to export a very proper use yes to be able to take control of how you're going to manufacture your parts. So this is very, very, very useful when importing CAD files from third-party vendors. Okay. And also, with this release, this includes support for reading files from Solid Edge 2023 and Solid version 35. So these were some of the new enhancements and new functions that are now available on the Inventor 2024 release, but there are many, many more. Okay, now there are enhancements in component bar patterning, substitution. Now, when we're going to create a joint, we just have to hit the J key, for instance, and there were enhancements on mark sheet metals, on text parts, filters, standards, many, many more. So what I would recommend is you just get the software and get into the forum where you will see all the enhancements. There's many of them are really, really useful, and these always are being actually created because of the input of the user. So many of these were actually because some of our users suggested that, hey, I would like a new parameter that lets you input a finish on my part, or hey, I would like to be able to input revision clouds on my drawing in a more easy manner, or stuff like that. So anytime somebody starts a forum input and writes stuff like that, Autodesk tries to listen to that. And so that's the invitation. Try this out and well, actually, I hope you enjoyed the new versions of Inventor. And that should be it about today's presentation. I don't know if we have any questions so far.
Thank you, Jose, for that wonderful presentation. And yeah, as a reminder for everybody, you can ask a question on the left hand corner. The first question I see is, can any shape be applied to roof clouds, for example, an oval, a circle, etc.?
No, that's actually not possible at the moment. It's done similarly as in AutoCAD, like polygon. So you can make a polygon with as many vertices as you want, but it's supposed to be just like building a rectangle. So that's the shape that the revision cloud will have. If you go ahead and modify the sketch that was created on the revision cloud, and it's not made in straight lines, you will get an error there. So it should be on the straight lines, but it doesn't have to be a rectangle. Okay.
Got it. Thank you. Second question is, the oriented bonding box deriving an assembly applies for the whole assembly or for each individual part?
All right. So when you're exporting an assembly or creating a simplified model or creating a derivation of an assembly, you can create a bounding box for each one of the components individually. You can even select which ones you want to be included as a bounding box or which one you don't want. So you get a lot of control with that as well. Yeah.
Got it. Thank you. And if you want to learn any of these topics in detail, you can always take a custom training with Jose or someone else on our team. We also offer group classes online. So, yeah, be sure to be checking the MicroCAD website for future webinars. We have upcoming up next tomorrow, what's new in AutoCAD 2024. And then let me check for you that real quick. And then we have on May 25, AI in Architecture, Generative Solutions for Revit, Inventor, and Fusion. So yeah, that concludes our webinar today. Thank you, Jose. That was amazing. And yeah, thank you everyone and have a nice day. Bye.
Okay. Thank you, Juliana. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and hope to see you soon. All right.